All right, let's get started on this torque tube. So this is the back. And you got a female end where your transmission input shaft is going. See over here, you got this big ass snap ring. These are Icon brand. I found the, Harbor Freight brand, whatever. They're like 30 bucks. Perfect for this. Snap ring does have some tension on it. And these big old pliers. Very good for the job. Stuck up in the... This is the hardest part about torque tubes, is this snap ring. Once you get past this, it's not that bad. There you go. Once that's out, then we got our bell housing end off, right? Got the input shaft. What you can see. So what I'll do, just turn it over. Couple light taps. Out she comes. So there's your prop shaft inside your torque tube. Now on the prop shaft, you have, oh, I don't know, a couple pieces, but like I said, here's your output adapter, and you have a coupler, Guibos or I don't know, Guibo. These actually look very good. Yeah. This front one's showing some ass. This back one is not in bad condition. I've already tossed the ones for the C5, or I'd show you what really bad ones look like. But anyway, to quiet the ride down or whatever, they have these rubber isolators in here. That's going to absorb rotational torque or whatever. This is going to take up some of the harmonics inside this tube. Just, for a comfortable ride, that's fine. You put power on these, they tend to fail. You put too much power, even if they're good, they'll balloon out. And they're inside of a tube, right? So they'll balloon out, and this rubber will grab onto that tube and create a friction spot. And if it gets bad enough, they'll shred these, which is your best case scenario. There has been cases where these just completely obliterate out, expand the tube and blow the tube out. So I put degreaser in the hose off, clean it some. So I'm just wiping from the water. So you have these Torx bolts. Now the internet will tell you 97 to 2000, they're 10 millimeter. 2001 to 2013 is supposed to be 12 millimeter. I'm not sure on the C7s. I don't even know if they run. I don't know. I know nothing about a C7. But these 2001. So it's like 2001 and a half, I believe they say. So if you have an 01, you could have a bastard. But 2002 and up to 13 is supposed to be definitely 12 millimeter. Now the C5 right here is an 02, and it had 10 millimeter in it. So I don't know. But what they're referring to is this bolt size, the diameter of the threads of the bolt. You either have 10 millimeter threads or 12 millimeter threads. So when you're looking this up, that's what you know. If you have a C6, you have 12 millimeter. If you have a C5, it's question mark. So, easiest way of doing this is get your impact, get your torque socket. I think these are 45, T45s. I'll have to grab a couple and figure it out, whatever the hell it is. But just bust them loose with the impact. Now these are supposed to be, oh, what's that word? Like your normal Torx has a flat end on it, and then you have another Torx with like a belly, like a little protrusion, a bubble past the threads, right? I'm tripping right now, but I think that's what these are supposed to be, but a normal Torx works. So, shit. I'm gonna grab my sockets and knock this thing apart. And then we'll switch the couplers out real quick and then put it back together. Oh, I just wish I was doing this on a workbench, but every flat spot in the shop is taken. So, T50, and some of the problem is that it's this bearing. Sometimes you get away with it, other times you can't. This bearing jumps on the shoulder of the socket, puts just a slight bit of angle on there. And you went to ripping with the impact and will mess the threads up. So I done messed up 2 of them. And I have to fix some kind of way. Find this bitch easy. But tried using this little 1/2-inch drive. We don't have enough ass. Oh, what do you do? Start down. So, and the big one's just breaking shit away. That's what messed up Just got too much power. I'm just gonna turn it down a little bit. Let's go number 2. See, but the wrench is so big. Yeah, I'm not doing that. And the impact, or the extension was just bouncing. So, I'm gonna see if tomorrow I can find a extended torque socket and get this loose. Sometimes, I say like I've done a lot of them, I haven't. This is probably number 6, 5, 6, something like that. So, I got a sticker, a sticker here. I don't know what's underneath it. So, I'm gonna go get a different socket tomorrow. Try again. So we got this thing mounted in the vise, and I got it grabbed by the coupler so I don't mess up anything else. And had to use a big breaker bar, and it kind of busting real loose. No combination of sockets, extensions, universals, or impacts was getting it done. So it was kind of, I don't know, I guess I was overthinking it about how to hold on to this without damaging it, you know, so I could have the ass to get it broke loose. But then it hit me, use the rubber, because I'm trashing it anyway, right? So, seemed to work out. Little FYI. So they're so stiff to get apart because the pile of Loctite that they put on these things, as much work as it takes to get to them, you don't want them to come loose. So, plus the, you know, the repercussions if they did come loose are pretty severe. So clean off your old Loctite. Make sure you put new Loctite on it when you get it back together. You know, it wouldn't hurt to chase these threads, clean all those Loctite out of there, clean it, you know, clean a little bit of it out. That way you don't worry about messing some threads up. But the Loctite's what makes this a bear. This is actually the first one I've done that I had to use something other than power tool to get it apart. But yeah, it's all this Loctite. So clean it up, get some new shit on there, put it back together. So the torque tube's back together. Once you get the couplers on the prop shaft and the input shaft and the output shaft adapter, it slides in. You'll have a little bit of issues. The output shaft adapters, snug fit. You can hit it with some silicone spray, it'll help. Hit the input bearing with a little bit of silicone spray, it'll help a little bit, but you're still gonna have to give it a little love tap. So get you a dead blow or something, tap it the rest of the way in, or a wood block, or, you know, something. Don't just go beating on it with a ball peen. Bell housing stays off until you get the new slave cylinder. Once I get the new slave cylinder, it'll get mounted up. Your hoses will go in between the bell housing and the torque tube through these notches, and then you bolt the bell house on. So, finally done with the torque tube. Now we're gonna move on. I cleared my bench off. He said, the Chevelle guy said, get it somewhat assembled, just easier for transport. So I put the crank in it, oil pan on to catch the oil, just maybe dripping out, and put the heads on with one bolt, just set them up there. So this is ready to pick up when he comes, drop off the 454. Now I got workbench room to move the LS3 over to my workbench, toolbox, tabletop, whatever. I can disassemble it over there, get everything spread apart, get to cleaning on that. So move some of the shit out of the way. Then I'm gonna use the transmission jack and a little bit of rigging, and I'm gonna get this, oh shit, almost died. I'm gonna get this cradle dropped out of here. So I need to get these hoses and wiring and whatever that may be attached to it kind of picked up out of the way. There's some of the stuff I gotta redo anyway. His fan controller stuff, there's wherever those wires went, is under par, less than, it's shitty, whatever you want to say. So we are going to get those cleaned up, and I'm going to terminate those on weather pack connectors. So he'll have a nice, you know, watertight connection that's now makes it removable. You know, on the relay I had to cut them because he just soldered them straight through. So we'll get this cradle off and get it in a couple parts outside, degrease them, pressure wash them off, and then, you know, deal with this. So I got a little bit of stuff to do. Oh, another thing, his motor mounts, obviously no bueno. So we were looking at motor mounts, and then I looked over here at the C5 cradle, right? It's a long walk. Oh, what'd I do with it? Was it sitting right in front of me and I just walked? Yep, sure is. So on a C5, these part numbers are slightly different between the two, but that's basically the same mount. So on a C5, they are mounted this way. On a C6, they're mounted this way, which is, I don't know why, but yeah. And you can tell by, like, this is the motor mount, right? Goes on the side of the block. And then see how that has a slot? And then you got the slot tab. And on this side, you got a nipple. And there on the cradle, you have the female receptor of the nipple. On a C5, the slot is on the cradle and the nipple is on the mount. So it should be fine with like thread length and all that, but you see the slots there. So take C5 mounts, flip them upside down, get a C6 mount. So Spencer's not using his factory ones. He's using these Henson semi-solid mounts with 3/8 drop. So he's donating these mounts to Danny so we can save him a couple bucks. And he doesn't want solid mounts anyway. He wants the softer ones, which is understandable. So that's what we're kicking around with right now. I'm gonna get on it.